Hey guys, Ken Smith Fishing. So over my shoulder, you see we're between the second and third period in the Stars game. Stars are up 2-1 and up 1 goal. They just went up a goal on this. This would be the fourth game, game 4. So, but I had pulled this stuff together earlier. I've done these videos in the past a few times, and I've gotten great feedback from them. As you guys know, Tackle Warehouse is a really big sponsor of the channel. So there'll be a link below if you want to go look at any of this stuff. But I love a deal. I just like finding stuff on sale, and whether it's a brand I use or a brand I don't use, as long as I know it's a quality brand, I'm gonna talk about it. So and everything on here, I tried to find stuff that was at least 30% off, and I found stuff up to 90% off, some of which I've talked about in some past videos. So all of this, I'll put a link below, or you can use that QR code right there on your screen, and all of this is in the clearance section of Tackle Warehouse right now. So the first one is that that Daiwa Tatula reel, a couple $100 reel. I know a lot of guys really like a lot of the Daiwa stuff, and specifically the Tatula stuff. So that reel's on 30-ish%. And by the way, on pretty much all of this stuff, like on the rods especially, not every action is for sale. They're clearing out stuff that they're kind of at the end of their inventory, waiting on new model year stuff to come in. So you know, it is what it is. Like some of these will only be left-handed, only right-handed, only one particular retrieve speed. You just got to go hunt and peck. But I want to show you some great places to go hunting and pecking. So next up, for kind of those beginning anglers, especially great for high school, junior high school anglers, a couple of really inexpensive reels, both 30 and 40% off, an Abu Garcia Max reel, and then that 13 fishing. I know several people who use that 13 fishing stuff, and they all really like that stuff. The Lew's Hypermag reel, this was for a long time the lightest reel Lew's made at I think 5.2 ounces. I think they make a 5-ounce reel now. But to put that in perspective, all the reels I just talked about before that reel are between 7 and 8 ounces. So you're talking a reel that weighs 45% less than most reels on the market. I own a couple of these, and they are spectacular reels. Then there's, again, back to spinning reels, there's another nice little kind of mid-range 13 fishing reel, normally 140 bucks, on about 40% off right there at, what is that, 60 bucks. No, excuse me, 79, 80 bucks. Then, again, kind of another mid-range reel, that Daiwa reel, the LT spinning reel, about $100 reel normally, on sale right now for 60 bucks. A couple of loose things. The mock spinning reels, I've got a bunch of those. That's just a real quality, normally $70, $80, $90 reel. And then if you've got a youngster, or if you've got a pond where you just leave reels at, that American Hero would be a great deal at 30 bucks on it for that reel right now. I use a couple of rod series with Lew's. I really like the TP1 Black. I like the handle on that reel if you've never, on that rod if you've never used that handle. I love that. Roughly 30% off at 100 bucks per stick. And there's a pretty good inventory on that. I looked, there's several links and actions in that rod available. That Shimano Intenza, kind of the same thing, really good mid-range rod, regular $170 rod, on sale for 100 bucks. This is a rod that I've actually picked up in somebody else's boat and fished with that I really liked. It's a Daiwa Tatula glass casting rod, so it's a crankbait rod. About $100.50 normally, on sale for, what is that, 30-40% off at 100 bucks. And then this is one of those really, well, not a really, I'm going to show you some stuff in a minute that surprised me, but this is a much higher end rod. That's that Daiwa, that's Japanese domestic market is what JDM stands for. So this is one of their higher end rods. This is normally a $440 rod, on sale for 200 bucks. So if you're into those high end rods, this would be a chance to grab one for a price that we all normally pay for a rod pretty commonly. And then also, again, those glass crankbait rods, that Fenwick Elite, I've never fished with it, but I checked with a buddy who fishes with Fenwick, and he said that's a fine rod, on sale about 40% off, so you can pick up that rod for 100 bucks as well. The mock casting rods, they're a little bit heavier than the true, so there's Lew's and there's Lew's mock. The Mockler's just overall just a little bit heavier rod, not quite as expensive, but at a much better price point. This is regular a $90 rod. There's several actions available on this rod as well. I looked personally, and then so they're on sale for 65 bucks. Another good glass rod. This one's pretty good sale, about 40% off, that Fenwick Elite Bass 2. And one of the things I noticed about this, and I have a few of these, most of mine are in spinning rods, but if you want to have a rod to keep in the pickup truck for pond fishing or for kid fishing, that's a 2-piece rod, so you want to break it down and put it under the seat. That rod's available. I actually have a really nice 6 cents 5-piece rod, I think, that came in a case that I keep in the truck now for when I want to stop on the side of the road and fish somewhere. So with a little bitty light spinning reel. And then you guys have seen me quite a bit pick up the Lew's, that green series. Those are also Mach rods. It's the Mach 2, so it's the second generation, maybe even now that I say that, the Mach 2 might have been the 3rd generation Mach rods. Most of those rods are 100 to 130 bucks. That one on sale right now for 80 bucks. I also threw this in here. I didn't cover a lot of tackle on this video, but I only use 3 colors really. Well, that's not true. 4 colors of Senkos. I use bubble gum in the springtime, but otherwise I use black blue, which is basically black with blue fleck. I use a watermelon color with purple fleck, and I use baby bass. And I put this in here because I don't buy them in single packs. They're incredibly expensive at this point. I mean, a pack of 7 or 8 Senkos is $7 or $8 or $9. But you can buy them in bulk in 50 packs. And that's what I do. You probably don't ever see me do it because I just get in my box and pull one out. But they have the baby bass. There's one less of these available than there was 10 minutes ago. They have the baby bass 50 pack on sale in bulk Senkos at 30 bucks. That's a really good deal. That's normally, I thought it was 50. It shows on here it's normally 45, but I just thought that was something. If you use a lot of Senkos and, you know, anymore on crankbaits, most soft plastics, I have really dumbed it down. I don't see a difference between a bass biting something with purple flake in it versus blue flake in it. I got comfort in something. It's been a really long time since I've had anybody in my boat catch fish on something that a color seemed to make a difference, so I don't much care anymore. This is a really good deal. That's that Spro. It's the Fast Sink 8-inch swim bait. It's a bait they don't make anymore, and even if you don't love, I think there's only 3 colors available in these. You know, these used to be 50 bucks a piece. The tails come off these, so if you have colors you really like and you've torn the tails, you can no longer buy the tails either. So I have bought every color that is anywhere close to a color I throw when I find them on sale like this, and I'm gonna basically part them out. I'm gonna take the tails off of them. So at 5 bucks a piece, I know that sounds kind of crazy to spend 5 bucks, but they're great baits and you can't get them anymore, and you got to make do the best you can. So and then there were a bunch of stuff in the Bass Mafia stuff, and I use some of this stuff. A few of them are a little bit heavier than I like to have in the boat, but that 2-bud bag at 23 bucks, that coffin at 17 bucks. I mean, all of these are 40, 50, 55, 60% off. The briefcase down there at the bottom. Those are all really good deals on what I believe to be a really high quality way to store your tackle in your boat, and that being that Bass Mafia stuff. I talked about these before, and they are literally giving these away. And I know some guys tried these and didn't like them. Some guys tried these and loved them. Obviously, enough guys didn't love them that I don't even know if they're still manufacturing these. But if you like these trapper hooks, I mean, they're basically giving them away at Top Warehouse right now. Basically, you pay the shipping and they'll ship them to you. So there's a lot of worm hooks. There's some treble hooks in there, 80, 90% off. Another thing that is a hook I use a lot, actually it's one of, for all of my EWGs, I use Gamakatsu. And I use, the traditional color, but I use a lot of red too. I just think it adds a little something. I think it almost looks like a blood trail a lot of times coming off a bait. So that's a great deal right now on the Superline offset EWG hooks from Gamakatsu. And then that also is, I just ordered, you guys remembered I kind of griped the other day on my fishing trip to Hubbard that I have continued to lose fish on a wacky rig. And I got a lot of comments about either this G-Finesse stinger hook or one like it from another maker. So I ordered a bunch of these at 50% off so that I can try them. I like that little basic weed guard out there in front of it, and I like a more traditional hook for wacky rigging than using, around cover specifically, than using the little finesse hooks where you really got to get a pull on them. So, and then the last thing this is the most expensive rod I've ever bought. It's a fabulous rod, but I'm on a budget like everybody else, and $200, $300, $400 for a rod. It really starts eating up my rod budget. You know, a lot of times I'd rather buy $250 rods than one $270 rod. So, and the reason I bring this up, so that's a fine rod. I started looking because of what I'm going to show you in just a second. It was in the clearance section. This G Loomis, and look, Jeff, the guy from Taos who fishes with me, he is purely a G Loomis guy. I don't know what he's got in rods, but I know he's got a lot of money in rods because a lot of his rods. He handed me a rod one day and he said that's a $400 rod or something, and I was like, take it back. I don't want to break it or drop it. So, but $775, $800 for a rod, and then this Evergreen Combat, which was developed by one of the Japanese former Bassmaster Elite guys. I don't know, I actually didn't even recognize his name. I'm sure it was somebody I probably should know. But it's on clearance at $1,000. I don't know what this rod cost originally, but my question to you guys is, so again, the most I've ever spent on a rod is a little bit under $300, that TI rod. What's the most you've ever spent on a rod, and was it worth it? I mean, was it that much lighter? Was it that much more sensitive? I mean, I can't imagine. All of my Lew's rods have really high-end, you know, grips, really high-end reel seats, really high-end everything. I mean, eyes on them. I just can't imagine what makes a $1,000 rod. But I love y'all's feedback on that. So anyway, that's what I saw. There's a bunch more stuff, but the stuff that I saw that interested me and that was really a significant discount, greater than 30%, and you know, specifically back on those, some of those hooks, you know, 80% off. That's some stuff in there worth taking a look at. Again, if you do go on and order anything from Tackle Warehouse, guys, I really appreciate it. If you use the link below, if you can take that link and just bookmark it so that anytime you go to Tackle Warehouse, that shows them you follow the channel and that lets them support me. So when you shop using my link, that supports my channel, and I appreciate it, guys. So that's what I got for you. Hope you enjoy that, and we're gonna get a little more fishing done later this week, and I'll get that posted up for you as well. Thanks, guys.